Hi, this is Eva from Once Upon a Timeline. Welcome to Midnight Mandela, everybody. Okay, let's see who's in Angels Don't Fall. Fear of God is the beginning of all wisdom. Who asked, has anyone heard of or watched the Pinocchio live action movie of 2020? It won 2 Academy Awards. I've never heard of it. Okay, 2020 was a weird year, but yeah, I never heard of it. I can't swear on that being a Mandela though, because I just don't watch movies that much anymore. But still, you would think I would have heard of a live action Pinocchio movie. Nominated and won 2 Academies. Let's see. Morpheus Dreams of Sleep, never heard of it. Sapioitzen. Shari Deezen, welcome. Preliminal. Is that everybody? I think so. Freeman's Cryptoverse, hello. No audio, really? Are you serious? Testing, testing. See, there's audio there. Okay, I guess I can talk. It was actually Shari that didn't have the audio. Okay. You're trying to April Fools me. It's not that hard. But April is past. All right, let's see. Yeah, I can't seem to watch any movies lately as well. I used to watch a bunch when I was in college. That's interesting because it doesn't sound like you're that old. And, I didn't get sick of movies until I was like in my 40s. I mean, there's a point where they all seem like they're just like the same plot lines recycled. But usually it takes a while before you get there. But yeah, I don't know. There's just something else going on. I don't know what it is. I mean, it's not like I don't spend a ton of time on the internet, but I used to do that also and still manage to watch TV. Okay, so yes. JJ's in. Welcome. Glowing's me is in. Mercury is in retrograde. The logical danger's in. Never heard of the live action Pinocchio. All right, now some of you were talking about that. I put it next because I was already going to talk about that. This thing where Jesus appeared to 500 people, that was on my roster to cover today, but I just moved it up since I saw you guys were talking about it. Okay, so this one is, there's a whole bunch from Retconned, and most of them were from user will work for answers. In fact, that person gave me a heads up that there was a bunch that they found. It's actually been kind of quiet this week, except for all these ones for will work for answers. So, yeah, so apparently, now what I remember is Jesus appeared to the apostles one by one, and most of them did not recognize him. But one of them did, but not at first, but then went like, oh, wait, like they went a double take and went, oh, no, wait, no, that is Jesus. So that was always an interesting story because if he appeared to them, why did they not recognize him right away? I always wondered what was up with that. So then Jesus appeared to all the apostles at once at dinner, and then they recognized him and he talked to them. That's all I remember. So now the story is he appeared to over 500 people. 1 Corinthians 15:6. That he was buried, that he was raised on the 3rd day according to the scriptures, 5, and that he appeared to Cephas, Simon Peter, and then to the 12. After that, he appeared to more than 500 of the brothers and sisters at the same time, most of whom are still living, though some have fallen asleep. 7. Then he appeared to James, then to all the apostles, 8, and the last of all he appeared to me also as to one abnormally born. Okay, so there's a lot of weird in here. I don't remember the 500. I don't remember this some have fallen asleep. Is that, I don't know. I mean, that's how they say death is fallen asleep. I don't remember this to one abnormally born. So people in the comments, most people didn't remember this, but a few people remembered this 500, and they said the 500 went on to preach the gospel and spread Christianity really fast. And so they're like, well, it wouldn't have made sense if all these people hadn't seen him, because then it would just be a few people making claims. But no, it was 500 people. I don't know. I don't remember the 500 people at all. So that's just weird. So very good find. We'll look for answers. Preliminal doesn't remember it. Let's see, where are we? We're down here. I feel strange since the lunar eclipse. I don't know. I feel like every month just feels more weird, dreamlike. The news gets weirder and weirder. Fauci did another giant flip-flop. Now he's saying that... so for a while there, YouTube would not let you even discuss the concept that the Rona might be man-made, and they banned it, and you would immediately have your show, deleted if you discussed it because it was disinformation. Now all of a sudden they made an announcement that you could discuss it again because Fauci said it might be true. So now it's not disinformation anymore. So basically, whatever the government tells you is the only truth, apparently. Feel your chins are more sloped than pointy on the end. I kind of discussed that. They do look weird. I also feel like my face is getting really mashed in. Like my nose is getting like squished so that there's like more of a dent here between the like right in here. It just looks weird. So for a while I kind of thought that the changes were making me look better, but lately I'm like, now I think I look a little worse. Like I've got, my eyes are up so high and there's like a lot of space here, and I feel like I squashed into a wall or something. Yeah, I did feel strange today, but I took this aerobics class on Tuesday, and I haven't done aerobics in a jillion years, and so I was like super tired. And then I went and played pickleball today, which was really not good after the aerobics class last night. So I was like super tired, but I kind of figured it was from those things. But all right, so anyway, that's those. I'm going to delete, well, there were some other ones on Retcon. I guess I'll cover that one. There was another one I wanted to talk about, which was, which one was it? I can't remember now. There's a bunch on here, actually. Oh, this one, Rainbow Island. Okay, so you've heard of Rainbow Mountains, and then there was suddenly like two of them. Okay, so now apparently there's this other Rainbow Mountains, like a third one, and it's in Iran, and it's called Hormuz Island. Darn. So all of these opened in my old, I think they opened in old Reddit. Okay, let me see. New Reddit. I need to do new Reddit. I think this will be new Reddit. There's a bunch, actually. There's the Jesus one. There. And I'm pretty sure this one will now open all. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so these are interesting. So I don't know if you've heard of it, but okay, so Sulawesi Island, those are those islands above Australia. We've been kind of covering that. We don't remember there being that much going on up there. Australia used to be out by itself, but now it's cranking on. Okay, let's see. Whoops. How about maps? So a lot of this new stuff that's growing up looks pretty cool, and we're getting a lot of neat animals and stuff from it. Let's see if we can get a map from it. Okay, so here's Australia, Papua New Guinea. Let me just look at a few things. It's kind of interesting. I kind of remember there just being Papua New Guinea up here as the biggest. But now this Kalimantan thing looks like it's gotten a lot bigger over here. I'm pretty sure that was Kalimantan. I don't remember what that is. Anyway, so Sulawesi is over here is under control of Indonesia. I haven't really heard of Sulawesi until like today, basically. Okay. Maybe I should just leave that open. Okay, so what's going on in the Sulawesi? Monoliths of Bada, Bezua, and Napu valleys on Sulawesi Island. Have you ever heard of this? Because these are apparently enigmatic megalithic artifacts of central Sulawesi were created is one of the world's greatest archaeological mysteries. No one knows who made them, why they were made, or even how old they are. So it's one of the greatest archaeological mysteries. Have you ever even seen it before? Okay, so they have these weird megaliths. Now, these things remind me a little of Easter Island, the Moai, but they're not. They're separate things, but you could see, like, you've got this kind of brow ridge and big fat nose thing going on. So the other thing I noticed is that they have the hands kind of coming around onto the stomach. And that one, interestingly, looks like the Moai now. Now, the old Moai, a lot of us remember just there being a big head, but now the body showed up, and now they have the hands coming around. So these kind of reminiscent to me of the Moai, but they also have these like giant, I mean, I want to call them hot tubs, but there's this carved out of a single stone, and they're all hollowed out inside. So that was the next one I was going to cover. So there's there's Sulawesi right there. So there's Kalimantan and there's Sulawesi. Those things. All right, I'm going to just delete that one now. Okay, so this is one of the things, and notice it's got, I'm going to move it over so I'm not sure if I'm covering it, but you can see it's got man parts on there, okay? And then the hands. So I was just wondering, okay, I covered before that I don't remember the hands on the Moai. So I went to look up Moai, and I really had to look because I could not find any photos now that showed the hands for like the longest time. This is the best I could find. You can see here now, I was calling these the belt buckles. They looked like belt buckles before. The hands now look like spider hands. They used to look more like regular hands the last I checked. They look really creepy now. They have these super long funky hands. Now, that doesn't look like a belt buckle anymore. There's a little square there. It could be almost anything. This one, you can't even see it. This one looks like I'm not sure if it's a square or a defect. And then this one, you can't see anything. And this is literally the best one I could find as far as showing the hands. Now, last time I was looking, no problems. I could see the hands on many. So I don't know if these are undergoing like some kind of alteration, and that's why it kind of seems like when something's changing, you can't find any photos of it for a while. So I don't know. I'm just wondering, are we going to get man parts on these? I've always been a little suspicious of this, the way the hands have been developing here. Okay, so again, you look at the Moai face. the brow ridges and the big nose. And one could argue that it is not unlike these now. So is there going to be some kind of global storyline mixed in with these? I also suspect that these monoliths here, I think we're going to see more and more of these. There's not very many photos. If you look currently, you will not find that much. But all right, so that was it for that one. Oh, yeah, they look like jars from the plane of jars, some of which are taller than humans and wider than humans. Yes, they're about human size. They're carved out. And they did have lids, they said, on these ones. So, yeah, and the plane of jars, I don't remember existing originally either. Plane of jars. I think I've had that one on before, but I forgot about it. Are we going to get this loaded here? Let's just take a little gander at that. Well, they do look a lot like it. Okay, so these plane of jars looks more like jars. The Sulawesi ones more like hot tubs. But they did say that some of them had two compartments in the inside with slightly different heights on the... So they're saying, oh, it can't be hot tubs. I don't know what it could be. I did not see on the Sulawesi ones any images showing the lids, but they claim that some of them had lids. I think we're going to see a lot more to that Sulawesi story, though. Oh, yeah, let's take a good point on the moai. Okay, so what did I just read and then jump away? The moai on Easter Island looked better, says Shari. What happened to them and why the hat thing is not red? Okay, let's take a quick look because that's a good point. Actually, I'm going to turn on my other screen real quick. Just because the other screen shows color way better. Yeah, you're right. There's not... This is the closest one I can find that looks fairly red. View file. They do look like they're lost some color, definitely. The ears have gotten fairly well established on here. I don't remember the ears being that sophisticated looking. The frontal organ regions look a rather more sticky outy than I remember. They all look kind of like saggy old men now. Don't they? They just look kind of like man bodies or something. The eyes look a little different too, I think. Let's see what we got here. I think that's the same image. So yeah, it was a little hard to find. I don't remember this image, ever seeing this image before. Historic moai wallpaper. I never saw that before. Interesting. With all that white stuff on them, I have never seen that before. It does look like a lot of these have really changed. Like all the images look different now. It seems like a lot less of them have the hat thingies. They're all different. The differences in height have gotten more prominent. Look at how big that one is. That one's head is bigger than that one plus the hat. Plus they got white like bird poops all over them or something now. But yeah, Shari's right. I don't see very many hats, and they are not as bright. They look like before they look painted, but now they just kind of look like kind of volcanic rock is a little reddish. Let's see now. I saw that one with the top cap. There's not very many. So the hats were like this, and then they had a little like top knot on them, and so it looks like we might be going to get multiple styles. Okay, so this one is just a really tall one. This one has the top knot. This one, I don't know if it fell off, the top knot fell off, or it never had one. And then this one has the top knot. So it looks like we're going to get more variety of these guys with the hats now. Oh, that's interesting. So they've got all this white stuff on them now. I wonder what it would be like if I was actually there seeing these things, if I lived on here or visited, seeing them change that much. So I don't remember this line with only one guy having the top knot. Okay, so yeah, they both changed. This one's changed and that new one showed up. Their nose is now pointy. Maybe a little, yeah, that's right. That guy's nose is kind of pointy, isn't it? I think they were before, but it's like more now. For me, the big striking change has been the heights keep changing, and these ear things are a lot fancier than I remember before. I guess it's not ear things, it's the ears, but see that. I don't remember it being all orderly like that. Okay, well, anyways, you get the picture. How's progress of YouTube alternative? I have not heard back from Odyssey. I don't know what's going on. Easter Island has a big town. Yep, that's one of the older Mandelas that they never died out now, so it's not a mystery anymore. So they never died out now, but now we have this Sulawesi mystery to replace them. And they've got the big, weird monoliths and everything. I mean, it's just weird. It's like Easter Island got transplanted over to the Sulawesi. My comments on the videos get deleted. Yeah, I don't think I saw you have any comments. That's interesting. I don't know why, because, I mean, you have a wrench, and so obviously you're not banned. I don't know. That's strange. Where did these pics come from? Never seen them before. Are we talking about Sulawesi or the Moai? Because the Moai, I just did a DuckDuckGo search for Moai. Or I think, what did I type in? Easter Island? Yeah, Moai. I just did a search for Moai. That's it. I know, I don't recognize those photos. The angles and the lighting, and then the last bunch of times I looked, I'd see kind of similar photos each time, but I can't even look at them. I know. Sometimes I feel like that. Like, I don't want to see this. It's all baloney. This is not right. Has anybody ever seen the tree climbing goats? That is an older Mandela. We have covered this, that I don't remember them all hanging out in trees like that. I mean, they were always said to be good climbers, but they didn't used to jump up into trees. But yeah, it's weird. But that was a few years ago for me. Okay, so um, let's see who got that one. I think that was Will Work for Answers again. Oh, yeah, that was Will Work for Answers that found the Sulawesi, Bata, Bezoa, and Napu valleys. Um, what are they calling those things? Okay, so the jar things are called kalambas, Kalambas. And I don't think they have a word for those, the statue dudes yet. It'll probably come though. Just give it some time. All right, now this one, all right, this one was found by Infinite Solace, one of the commenters on the channel. Okay, so one thing I noticed when investigating this one was that they did say that fire is part plasma in this video. And then I looked it up in other places and said fire might be part plasma depending on what's burning. I don't remember anything about fire being plasma though, ever. And I've said this before, there just seems to be like plasma is a thing. So so now they're saying like there's plasma at the poles and it causes the aurora borealis. Now they're saying fire is a plasma. So so apparently you can have cold plasma now. Plasma so cold that it'll turn water into ice. Okay, so cold helium is turned to plasma. So it like they make the helium really cold and then they turn it into plasma, and I'm a little bit lost on exactly how they do that while keeping it cold. And the story is that the electrons are hot, but the atoms are cold, and since the atoms weigh more, then the plasma will be cold. So this plasma fire actually freezes instead of burns. So this little video here, this fire freezes instead of burns, is on YouTube. It's from Action Lab Shorts, and it basically shows them. So he's saying it's cold, and you could this one you can touch. I don't think that's the one they're doing for the. Well, maybe it is the one they're doing for the. Okay, so basically they put some water on here, and then they hit it with this plasma, and then the water like freezes. It's pretty weird. So basically, you know, it's like it's kind of another joke on us that now fire actually freezes things, basically, or it can. So yeah, that's pretty weird. So I've never heard of like the electrons being hot, but the atoms being cold. So it's cold, but yet it's because the electrons are hot, it's fire. I don't know if you've heard anything like that. This man has dried water, now he's unhotted fire. I'm pretty sure he's playing with cheats. Yeah. So yeah, pretty weird. So all bets are off in the current timeline, basically. I was just about to say they look like fertility statues. Yeah, maybe. You know, I did see some that had the Sulawesi ones. There was like a big hole down in the stomach region, like just a carved out hole. It didn't really look organic. I almost want to say you could just store water in there, or you could. It looked like a big like place to put your giant Slurpee drink in there or something. I don't know. So I'm thinking that they didn't seem to explain that anywhere or mention them, but I'm thinking that there'll be some kind of storyline attached to those holes in the stomach. The moon has rust on it, rust color now too. Yeah, I've noticed that images now of the moon kind of with enhanced coloration. So they're basically cranking up the color contrast or showing a lot of color. But the thing is, before it was just gray, so it didn't matter how much color contrast you'd crank, you wouldn't get any. So I agree that's been suspicious. I don't think I've specifically mentioned that, but I have been noticing that. I wasn't sure if I wanted to say anything because they're not technically saying it's those colors, but I keep seeing images of those colors. I'm waiting for glow-in-the-dark lobsters. Just checking, you never know. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, has received many consumer complaints about various seafood products glowing in the dark. Ooh. So I think you're going to get them already. I wonder, I've done a video on this a couple years ago about a weird bacteria that made food glow. Some of these consumers called their local health departments, poison control centers, and their U.S. senator because they thought they had been poisoned by radiation. These consumers said they had trouble convincing people that their seafood was emitting light. One consumer took his imitation crab meat to a local television station. Unfortunately, his seafood had dried out and did not glow for the television reporters. Several consumers thought their glowing seafood was due to phosphorescing phytoplankton or even fluorescence. All right, the answer is these seafood products exhibited luminescence due to the presence of certain bacteria that are capable of emitting light. Luminescence by bacteria is due to the chemical reaction catalyzed by luciferase, a protein similar to that found in fireflies. We've covered luciferase in the past as being a Mandela. The reaction involves oxidation of a reduced flavin mononucleotide and long-chain aliphatic aldehyde by molecular oxygen, blah, blah, blah. Excuse me. Most of these species require salt except for two non-marine luminescent bacteria. They exist freely in the ocean, on surfaces and intestines of fish, shellfish, as well as symbionts with various marine fish and squid. Previously, all luminescent bacteria were considered to be harmless, but to humans. And apparently this V. vulnificus, VVLI, this microorganism was isolated, blah, blah. Got it in his leg. Man died 13 days later after being admitted to hospital. This was the first report indicating that a strain of pathogen, V. vulnificus, was bioluminescent. All right, so I think they're going to say it's basically harmless then, unless it's this one kind. Okay, so this is interesting. You know, you normally, this might be kind of scary, but normally your lights are on, right, when you're cooking. So when you open the refrigerator, you got a light on, so you wouldn't know if your stuff is glowing. How often do you get the meat out and lay it down and then turn out the lights? So they're basically, it looks like they're basically saying that it's a bacteria, but they're not harmful. 1998, a severe storm in Maine, the electricity went out. One evening, he noticed the fish glowing so brightly that he could have read a newspaper. Anyways, okay, so you pretty much have your glow-in-the-dark fish now, I think. So yeah, I did cover the glowing meats, but it was like really rare when I covered it a couple years ago. So it sounds like it's getting more common. Squids will fly. Yeah, I think we already, we already have that, right, King James? We already have the flying squids. I've covered that before. I don't think we have the running squids yet, but we have the flying squids. Squids will walk on land. That one would be an easy one compared to a lot of stuff we've seen. I mean, it's not as weird as flying squids. We have octopus that hunt on land. Let's see. Okay, as time passed, the ocean subsided to form the geography that is today, and during that process, the squids began evolving to walk on land. Yep. Okay, so we already have a walking on land squid. The Appalachian mud squid. Like a cartoon. Oh, this one's Squidbillies. It's not real. Okay, okay. Oh my gosh. It's not real. You can't tell anymore. Okay. Giant squid that inspired Kraken was spotted. Alright, I got trolled by the internet. I was thinking them all. That's funny. They have a picture of Squidbillies on there. But yeah, no, it's okay. Okay, maybe not then. We may not have the walking squids yet. I've definitely covered the octopus walking around on land some. Okay, I don't think we have it yet, or at least I didn't find it easily. Turtle discovered flight. Not that I know of. You're joking, right? I know we have sky rivers. I know. When did that show up? Of like, what, 2 years ago? So they used to just call it for like some unusual effects like in Africa, but now they just use it for everything. Everything's a sky river. You can see rainbow in the meat. Yep, I have covered that one. Even the platypus glows in the dark. I believe that you need the black light for the platypus for now, though. Okay, so where are we at here? Right, I know there was some more retcon ones I wanted to cover. So you will work for answers. Also said more than one Dead Sea, and they are turning red. So apparently the Dead Sea's got like pink sand now, and sometimes turns red from bacteria. So And this is Iran's Dead Sea. So it kind of looks like, the Red Seas are going to be like literally red. So now the story is pink sand and bacteria make it like red, and that's why it's called the Red Sea. And then there's one in Russia, and there's one in Iran, and they're like red. And then there's this Red River in Russia here. So there's a bunch of Dead Seas all colored red. That's the Jesus one. Covered the monolith one. Wait, there's another one somewhere in here. Rainbow Island was it. Okay. So this again is from You Will Work for Answers. So yeah, I was going to cover this one earlier, right? Didn't I mention it? So Rainbow Island. So now we've got a Rainbow Mountains in Iran and a whole bunch of weird stuff all over the island. So there's like a rainbow, like inside a rainbow cave, looking very rainbow-y. Some from a distance. So they've got like some kind of a Red Sea thing going on also now on the same island. So that looks like maybe some kind of salt formations. So I think we're going to be looking at bacteria, more red. And then they've got this yellow river thing going on. And this is all on this Hormuz Island. So definitely looking kind of... look at that. Now this is crazy. It looks like an interesting tourist place. So we got more of these funky. I think I've seen these twice now in two different places. These weird plateaus with the water features in them. It looks like layer cakes. So this Hormuz Island has it also now. Anyway, pretty weird. So we got that one done. All right, now this one is from Velcro de Fang, commenter on the channel. Element 43 on the periodic table is called Technetium. Have you ever heard of Technetium? There's a lot of weird things going on with the periodic table. So it was officially discovered in 1937. So I know not very many people here are old enough to have not known about this one. Chemical element with a simple TC, technetium. I'm quite positive that didn't exist when I was learning the periodic table. In fact, a lot of these look really strange to me. So yeah, I agree. Velcro de Fang. I've never heard of that one. Okay, here's another one. Okay, in the movies when you flatline and then they shock they take those little, I don't know, shocker things and bzzz, and shock the heart and you wake up. Okay, so this one is from user SS Destial, SSDESTIAL, retconned. This person remembers that when you flatline, they would shock you. Okay, and it's interesting because if you look in the comments, there's a lot of people who said they've seen that happen, like their uncle died or got a flatline and they shocked him. Or they even remember like looking at the flatlining because the if somebody's dying, they'll actually, have records of exactly their heart movement. So they'll see flatline, shock, and then their heart beats, and then flatline. So people have seen this. They know that this was common practice in the past because they've known people who had heart attacks and stuff, and they used to shock you. In fact, I do remember portable paddles for that. But now apparently they won't do it ever if you're flatlined unless it's like a last resort. So now what they do is they just give you like adrenaline shots apparently. And if maybe that didn't work, they could try shocking, but it usually doesn't work at that point if the adrenaline shots didn't work. So now they'll just say that they'll shock you if your heart is got an irregular beat, like it's not orderly. Then they'll shock you, but they don't ever shock you when you flatline now. And even though all the movies show that, they're saying, oh, all the movies are just wrong. It was just bad, bad quality information and just an old wives' tale, which I find very suspicious. I'm like, every last movie in the history of ever got it wrong. Even ones that were fairly accurate on everything else got this really simple thing wrong. But yes, that's the case now. They don't shock you for the flat lines anymore. The island in Iran is something very peculiar. Changes there and all these Red Sea and Rainbow Caves are totally new. I've never heard of them before 2019. Yeah, I think the first Rainbow Mountains I did hear maybe 6 or 7 years ago. But there was just the one. There's like over 4 of them, I think. When will the pig discover flight? Yes, we're still waiting for that. And unicorns. They always pull out the paddles and rub them together. Yeah, but now they don't flatline you anymore. If you're flatlining, that's it. They shoot you with adrenaline. That's it. They don't shock you. The whole body would bounce. Yup. I was legally dead for 2 minutes until I was shocked by a defibrillator. Yeah, see, there's so many people with these stories that like, but I remember getting shocked. But apparently in this time they just shoot adrenaline in now. So they only shock you now if your heart is beating, like it's still beating, but it's not like orderly. I think it's called defibrillated or something. It's like when it's not flatlined, but not beating quite right. And so the shock is supposed to organize the beating. Never heard of this element, not even after 8-semester chemistry. Technetium. Yeah, since 1937, dude. I had a test to fill in the periodic table. I did too. I mean, granted, it's been a long time, but I mean, at least, and I don't remember exactly where they all go, but, a lot of them don't sound even familiar to me now. It's just weird. Okay, got that one. So that one was found by SS Destial. Good find, good find, good finds. I already did the Jesus one. Okay, so this one I just ran into. Rare, blooming. Okay, so apparently this year, the saguaro cactuses just started blooming all strangely. So if you know anything about saguaros, they used to bloom along just the crown, like in a corona, haha, so funny, style. At the top, they would have a ring of flowers at the top. But this year, suddenly, they burst out with gajillions of flowers all up and down the sides, and nobody's ever seen that before. See if I can find some good photos, because I'm sure not. Let's see, that's not very good. Let's try another one. Okay, so this kind of shows it. They're all out the sides now. So it used to just be a ring at the very top of the spike. So this is like the old school saguaros here. Just at the top. Now I actually remember it being like a circle around the top, not like a hairy head. So, but you're starting to see now there's some on the side. So this is not exactly like my memory either. This is closer, but again, I remember a very orderly pattern all the way around the top. Okay, so what are they saying causes it? Well, they don't know. Have you noticed a patchy beard of buds on some of your saguaros in your neighborhood? You are not imagining things. Cactus experts are tracking an unprecedented outbreak of side blooms on the saguaros across southern Arizona and beyond. Typically, the giant cactus sprout flowers only around the tips of their arms and trunks, but this year, a large number of them are also pushing out buds further down their stems. There are examples all over Tucson Valley, he said. It's a big phenomenon. The exact cause is unclear, but experts agree that the rare display is almost certainly a sign of distress. Okay, so they're distressed, so they bloom way, way, way more. That seems to be kind of a theme lately that I don't remember when I was a child, but I've been thinking a lot about that, said Ben Wilder. His back of the napkin guess last year was the driest in record in Tucson, and he suspects this year's strange bloom is response. What's happening now could be fallout from a run of record heat in 2017, disrupting their development. Plants have fewer spine clusters, known as areoles, from which flowers typically sprout, so they are reactivating old unused budding locations further down the stem. So now that doesn't sound right, because all of the images I'm showing show plenty of budding at the top and then also down. So if they don't have enough fresh areoles at the top, then that sort of would make sense. But if they're blooming a ton from the top as well, then it doesn't really make sense. Other columnar cactus, like the organ pipe and the Mexican giant cardon, regularly sprout flowers along the sides of their stems. Saguaros almost never do, until recently. All right, so anyway, basically, yeah, there's this weird bloom, and they're blaming it on the drought. Rainbow cactus incoming, yep. Saguaros, it's really pronounced saguaros. No, I've not heard of that. Saguaros is how I've always heard it. Okay, so where are we now? Rainbow Island. Well, I think I only have one left then. Made pretty good time today. Woohoo! 1 whole hour only done. Okay, so what's going on with the thumbnail? Actually, that was another one I needed to go to Redcon for. Well, I guess I didn't need to go there, but you know, I don't really need to. I'll just do it. Okay. All right, so you guys remember Pikachu, right? Let me just do Pikachu. That is a very popular older Mandela where people remember Pikachu's tail having a spot on it. A black spot, I should add. So here we have Pikachu. So people remember a black spot there. So, and that's what I remember. The black ears and the black spot on the tail. I think it was kind of triangular. And then no brown spot. So then the black spot disappeared, and then it was just yellow for a while, and then the brown spot at the base showed up. I also don't remember extensive striping around the back. It seems like those stripes just get bigger all the time. So these were more like spots, and then they just kind of like spread out. Okay, so a lot of us are like, I remember the black spot. Well, do you guys remember what the skeptic said? Because what I remember is the skeptic said, oh, that's not Pikachu, that's Pichu. You guys are getting all confused. So indeed, at the time, if you went and looked at Pichu, Pichu did have a black spot on his tail. But now, and I hope you remember those skeptic stories about Pichu, because now, if you look at Pichu, this is Pichu. Guess who does not have a black spot on his tail? Because now he has a full black tail. There's no spot. So I don't know where the story is that we're getting the Pikachu black spot. Now, I probably would not know diddly squat about Pichu, except for the skeptics saying that Pichu was how we got confabulated with Pikachu. But since I did look at Pichu for that many times, I will also say that I do not recall this collar thing, this black zigzaggy collar thing. And I also don't remember the black striping on Pichu's ears being this extensive. So for me, there's multiple changes on Pichu now that would make it highly unlikely that you would confuse Pichu with Pikachu, because now they did actually look kind of similar for a while, but they don't now. So and that was, who found that one? That was user on retconned, Amadeus Greenwood. Very good find, Amadeus. All right, everybody else has gotten their kudos. I found out a few months ago that defibrillators often don't work, but I didn't know they don't work at all. Might be like to the heart being rolled, folded. Yeah, I don't know. So basically, there's just a lot of changes in the heart, so. A huge electric living in luxury sign appeared yesterday on a building in front of my kitchen window. It was not there in the morning, and by lunch it appeared. Huh, that's interesting. You know, it usually takes them a while to install something like that, too, so you probably should have seen it going up. The cactus prickles now inject deadly venom. Interesting. Interesting. I don't remember there being venom in cactus spines. Cactus spines venom. I do not remember anything like that. I have cactus. Are cactus spines poisonous? A spine puncture can lodge deep into the skin. Can have bacteria and fungi. I'm not seeing it. Maybe there's just a specific one. Cactus spine venom. I'm not finding anything. Now I have heard that, they have the reverse microscopic spines, so they're hard to pull out and they hurt. Okay, yeah, no, I'm not seeing it. Sorry, maybe it's a specific kind. Rainbow cactus can walk. Hmm. Okay, I'm not finding the walking cactus. Let's see. Walking cactus. Okay, so apparently a walking cactus was an insect. Okay, so I'm not finding that one either. Oh, maybe you're teasing. Underwater flying talking rainbow cactus. Yeah. Not yet, but give it a few more shifts. I really can't tell when I'm getting trolled by reality and when I'm not anymore. It's like anything's possible. Does anybody give a damn about the UFO official disclosures? I've been watching those. I do think it's very fishy that after decades and decades of saying we're all nuts, and now all of a sudden the government's all, oh yeah, there's unidentified flying objects, and it's interesting, and maybe we should look at them. And then why, during the pandemic of all times, they decide that they need to slip in a rule into one of the pandemic bills that the U.S. government has to disclose what they know about UFOs by June. And guess what? It's coming, supposedly. So I really suspect what we'll hear is just like we'll see some interesting videos and the govs will say, I don't know what it is. That's my guess. But I do think it's really weird after having so many people joking about what's next UFOs landing, and it's coming into the timeline fairly fast. I don't know. In the next couple of years, what are we going to see? Now, one guy I know, I think I covered this actually. I remember talking about this. This guy I know said that he thinks that the UFO business is being thrown out there in case there's any weird sky phenomena. They can just blame it, on that. Because he thinks that end times is coming and we'll see weird stuff in the sky. So he's like, oh, they'll just blame it on that. So I don't know. But I mean, it seems like a lot of people are expecting something. In India, they videotaped an alien walking on the streets 2 nights ago. India, alien walking. So the problem we have now is CGI is getting so easy, or it could just be like somebody in a really skinny person in a suit. Because really, this person to me looks like it could just be a really skinny person. Has shown a strange looking humanoid figure with really long legs and arms walking across a bridge. Turn off your ad blocking software. No, I don't think I will. I don't know. I'm not really sold that this has to be an alien though. I'll look it up later just to see how it walks, but Yeah, now with CGI and all this stuff, I mean, it's really hard to pin down this stuff. Trump rumored to be back in office. Biden ordered by military to leave by June 4th. Well, that's the latest conspiracy theory, but there's been a lot of those, and none of them have come to pass. Remember, it was going to happen at the inauguration, and then it was going to happen a month after the inauguration, and now it's June 14th, and then. So I'm not really holding my breath at this point. Anyone notice the kidneys slightly lower? Kidneys. Anatomy. I don't know. Man, they still look really high. I don't know. I want to say they even look higher, a little higher for me than I last time I looked. I think the intestines just keep getting bigger, and then the stomach is getting like shoved up. And as the intestines are taking up more space, the kidneys are getting pushed up also. But again, there's so much variation in these photos. It's part of the confusion factor. Protocol for spotting aliens is still using a potato camera with the lowest resolution. Yeah, you ever notice that? It's like, in not just UFOs, but anytime they have evidence of anything, evidence, or like, oh, here's proof that such and such was responsible for this terrorist attack, and it is literally like video from 100 years ago is better quality than this crap. It's like, is that evidence of anything? I mean, come on. They have like better World War II video than the military has of these spaceships. It's ridiculous. I wouldn't be surprised if later we get better video though magically showing up, because like I said, I have seen that when stuff is new in the timeline, you get potato quality, and then later you go look back, you go, "What? That's better than I remember." So, the whole aliens thing now, it's like confusing, because if we like magically change location in the galaxy and everything is magically changing, so the galaxy is magically changing. So are these aliens, I mean, are they aware of this? Is it changing for them? Or did we just show up in a different part of the galaxy for them? Or do they not know about this? And, like, what's going on? I mean, I don't even know if aliens are, like, conventional sense are real. Now, if this whole place is a simulation, then it wouldn't be surprising if all kind of consciousnesses could maybe just, temporarily operate an avatar and visit down here, especially if they were more sophisticated mentally than we are. Maybe that's possible. So then it would be like the interdimensional thing, but it wouldn't necessarily be an interdimensional thing as like an out of our dimension thing, basically. So I'm not sure, what even to think about this whole aliens thing now. But it seems harder for me to imagine somebody from another part of the galaxy like flying over here in a conventional sense. Now, if we're moving around and like, how does that even work? Are we an alien kids human ant farm? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. We have been moved, shifted from Milky Way to Orion. Well, Milky Way is the galaxy, so we're still in the galaxy. But we were on Sagittarius arm, and now we're sort of on Orion, I think. Aliens are interdimensional travels. Maybe they cause the ME. Yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. If they were interdimensional, it would make more sense. Maybe they know about how that. Maybe they know about the Mandela. I mean, I just find it hard to believe that they don't. If they're able to travel here, they wouldn't know about the Mandela. How who got in my home and changed my Bible? Yeah. So, it just adds like a huge cog in the wheel. We are halfway in the Milky Way. We used to be on the edge. Yep. No, we are causing it. Our minds specifically call it what you want. So we bounce between Orion and Orion Cygnus nowadays. Yeah, I mean, if we're in a dimension and it's a sim, but we kind of have, a certain amount of power, so it'd be like Dark City, the movie, where we can like take the power and change things if we're strong enough. And then maybe aliens can come and visit, but they have to fit into certain rules. If our brains are kind of running the show, then aliens might have to fit in a certain amount. So, if they took human form and blended in, maybe they'd be allowed to come. I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing ideas at the wall. So, if you kind of go with that thread, then talking a lot about aliens, saying they're real, opening public's mind up to it would conceivably possibly make it easier for them to show up too, maybe. I don't know. I don't watch movies anymore, but I think I'll watch Dark City. Everyone keeps talking about it. So it wasn't like the world's best movie, because it was low budget, and it's a little dated now because The Matrix basically stole a lot of the ideas and made it a high budget movie. But it's got a lot of issues for Mandela, so I think it's worth checking it out. I mean, don't expect a high budget perfect movie is all, but there's some weird parts in there that just kind of stick in your head. You could kind of imagine being this guy that that's the other thing about it is, so there's this guy and things aren't adding up right, and memories aren't adding up right, and he goes on this quest to figure out what the heck is going on. And you can kind of relate to it as a Mandela person because we've kind of been in the same boat where like stuff's not adding up, what's going on. The problem is that we don't get the closure like he does. In the movie, there's like an ending where they sort it out, and we don't get that. So it's like twice as irritating. I mean, I'm hoping we will, but I think if I saw Dark City now, I probably would like it better than the first time I watched it, though, just because I would be able to relate to the character. At least for the beginning parts. All right, anyway, I'm like done, and you guys, did Eva talk about this new Egyptian god who looks like Casper the Friendly Ghost? Yes, I have. In fact, I'm the one, I believe, that said that I thought that they looked like Casper the Friendly Ghost. Yeah, that one's so weird. And apparently the Japanese even made a whole goofy character out of it. I'm watching Fringe. I really should try to watch some of these. I heard Westworld is good too. I tried to watch Dark City recently and it seemed like a different movie than I remember it. Ah, interesting. I did feel like certain parts changed a little bit, like the part I haven't watched the whole movie, but I saw images that aren't what I remember, and one was the what was that one where Shell Beach, looking for Shell Beach. I thought that looked a little strange. Megia, I think it was the name of the Casper. Megia. With a J. Megia. Egyptian god. Oh, maybe it's Magi. Magi. No, that's not it. Let's see. All right, I'm just gonna type in ghost. There. Medjed. Medjed, that's it. So this is Medjed. Cute ancient Egyptian anime. So this is actually on one of the ancient documents or something of Egypt, this character. The destroyer who shoots ray beams out of his eyes. Medjed. I think that's it. There's another depiction. There it is in long form. So the story then is that the Japanese apparently were much enamored of this and made it some kind of character. Okay, yeah, anyway, I covered that one the other day. Looks like a 5-year-old's drawing becoming reality. Yep, yep, yep. Talked with a psychiatrist or psychologist yesterday. I showed her many evidence of the ME. She has the Sagittarius memory. She was taken aback. So I wouldn't be surprised if she thinks about it really hard and then comes up with some kind of confabulation theory. That's what they usually do. But you never know. CERN translates to deception in Hebrew. Interesting. CERN means what in Hebrew? Okay, not really finding it either way, but could be. I don't even mention the changes to no ME affected ones. It's a waste of time. Yep. Generally speaking, a lot of people who are even really interested in the paranormal will just not want to hear anything about the Mandela effect. I do sometimes ask people what they remember, but I don't tell them why. I'm just curious if they remember the old way. Hawaii has a new island in my reality. Yeah, there's a couple new islands for me. Lindbergh baby's murder was never found. Yep, that was how it was in. Pretty much everybody remembers Lindbergh's baby never being found. That's one of the ones that just about anybody who can remember anything about Lindbergh's baby will remember him not being found. Obelisk the Tormentor. Is that really a Obelisk the Tormentor? Is that an Egyptian god now? No, it's a Yu-Gi-Oh. Okay. Can't tell life from baloney anymore. The Bible states Antichrist will change times and laws. Yep. Emmy scares people so they deny it. I do think that's a lot of it. I always catch them in a change and they say they misremembered. Almost always, yes. I have run into a few people who are intrigued with the Mandela, though. They're willing to at least consider it. You can see it bothers them. They're not full on board, but they're willing to consider it. But yeah, that I think is the weirdest thing. If so many people just, even if they see the changes, no matter how ridiculous, they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to. I mean, I've ran into people who remember Arctica, but they don't. They're just like, don't talk about it. That's the weirdest for me. You'd think that if this stuff was happening, people would freak out and at least want to talk about it. And then the people who say, well, it doesn't matter, it doesn't affect me, you know, like the whole world is magically changing and you don't want to even talk about it. I don't know. I can't understand that. My mom saw the changes and said there's nothing she can do about it. Never mentioned it again. Well, there's nothing you can do about hardly anything, but that doesn't stop you from talking about it, observing it, and learning about it. I mean, I can't do anything about gravity, but I'm still curious about it. I mean, you know, it just makes no sense. It's just so weird. I mean, you can't do anything about what the president does when he's in office, but you still want to know about it. I've met more that will listen now. My Aunt Margaret a few days ago at the family cookout. Well, good job. You're doing better than me. So I have one customer that is interested in the Mandela, but she'll talk about it a little. But, you know, she's not into it like I am, but she's not like a total denier. And so she's kind of on the fence. Like, she's not sure if she believes in it, but she can't quite understand how everybody could be misremembering that bad. So she's back and forth on it, but I can respect it. At least she's thinking about it. She's not just denying it all. She listened without getting mad or putting it off. Yeah, see, that's so rare. How does Jim Neighbors die 2 or 3 times? Nelson Mandela, Billy Graham, yep. Make sure to tell her to pay attention to whether the memories are anchored in other memories or mentally linked to other memories. The downloads aren't and thus are more shallow, according to Sapioid. I do think that tends to be the case. Like, I do think I might have a few weird false memories and they just kind of plunk down out of nowhere, and you're just like, how could I have not thought of that in 10 years or something? They'll be like really old and they're just sort of by themselves. It's they have a weird feeling to them. So anyway, okay, I think we're good because I'm done. I just avoid the subject. Are you talking about the arm poke? Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely getting people are now convinced that somehow I will be personally responsible if the lockdowns don't end because I didn't get poked in the arm. And I'm like, how does it matter considering you are totally protected? So what's the issue? Then they're like, well, you have to get it because of the people who can't get it. I go, well, who can't get it? Because everybody I know who normally they would say don't get it, they're pushing to get. So people with lupus, people who go into anaphylactic shock, everybody, it doesn't matter now. They're pushing you to get the poke. So there really is no reasonable size grouping of people who can't get it other than people under 12, and I bet that's going to change. And those people are not at risk. I mean, the death rate is like... So the only other people they're saying don't get it are people who are allergic to the ingredients. Since the ingredients are basically new, I mean, who's going to know if they're allergic to all new ingredients? So that's basically nobody. Anybody else are saying consult your doctor or physician. So people with, terrible lupus, anaphylactic shock, they consult with the doctor. The doctor says, get the poke. Take your EpiPen and go get the poke. There is no group that can't get it, basically. So we all have to get it for a group that doesn't exist, according to some people. The jab has hydrogel with nanobots. Yeah, it changes RNA or DNA, depending on which one you get. There's people who think that the J&J and the AstraZeneca are traditional vaccines. They're not. Those are DNA pokes. So keep that in mind. So what they're saying is the modified adenovirus delivers genetic information. Well, the genetic information that it delivers is DNA. So don't think that it's a traditional vaccine. It is not. I want a new employment that doesn't insist on the poke. Okay, so check the rules in your area about exemptions, because most states are still allowing exemptions. There's a lot of places that'll say that we're requiring it, but if you actually look into it, they will still accept the exemptions, most of them. So I would definitely check into that. I don't want to get too far into it. Be really careful with the terminology on the chat, people, because this whole show could get deleted if we go too far down this road. It's happened before. So anyway, yes, I think I'm at the end zone now, so I'm gonna sign out. So anyway, think good thoughts, everybody. This is Eva signing off for Once Upon a Timeline.